Ladies and gentlemen, I am here at the Hermitage in Guatemala with Bishop, the manager here. I'm actually going to go into the dark retreat for 5 days. It's going to be epic. It's 5 nights and like 5 days. So it's really cool. I just had a vegan dinner, which they served me. We're on the beach, or it's like a lake, but it feels like the beach. And yeah, I just want to pick your brain and see what other people have experienced and what I should be expecting. So, what's up? How are you?
I'm so good. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being on my podcast. Appreciate it. So tell me, what's like what should I expect when I go in?
Also, this I can't really hear right now.
You can't?
Uh-uh.
Really?
Oh, there you go. You keep coming in and out.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I didn't mess anything up.
Nah, you're good. All right.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Now I can hear you loud and clear. Cool.
Perfect. All right. I just pushed it a little more.
Okay, cool.
Technology, which is not good. That's why I'm going in there.
Yeah.
See, there we go. That's a great way to pivot back into our topic.
Huge.
So, do people have like detox? I think that's like something that I look forward to.
Detoxing.
Yeah, detoxing off of just technology and just from just everyone, like because we live in a society where you just have to, where most people are under the impression that if you're not doing something, you're lazy. You always have to be productive. You always have to be doing something, and I think that just makes you more counterproductive.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge detox on, well, it depends on how you're coming here physically. It can be physically a detox. Depends on if you're coming with certain addictions, certain foods in your system, certain toxins. Mentally, definitely. And yeah, emotionally,
Yeah,
spiritually.
emotionally. Yeah, spiritually.
Yeah, because what we're really doing in the dark is we're really cutting out all stimuli, all stimulus, and coming to really meeting ourselves, which is if you are a human breathing, living in modern day society,
Mm-hmm.
then you are really used to being constantly stimulated, being constantly in that productivity, like go, 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 do. And, I work really deeply with the nervous system, with the clients here and in my own business. And the nervous system, I don't know how much you know about the nervous system or how much is on some of your other episodes, but I mean, basically we're talking about being in a chronic sympathetic state of this like fight or flight, this do, this energy that's like constantly mobilizing. And so my perception of the dark and my own personal experience and what I feel from people bringing them in and bringing them out, it's this real nervous system reset.
Nice. Nice. So it's not really what you're going to learn; it's what you're going to unlearn. In a sense, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, the guy that I just had dinner with, he just finished it. I think he did 7 days, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, said my body wasn't used to just not doing anything. He's like, but after like 3 days, I just really like enjoyed the moment. So I
Mm.
think Joe Dispenza says that a lot. He's like, don't rely on the past, don't think about the future a whole lot. Truly, truly be in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which is so much easier said than done, right? If you're used to being in this sympathetic go, 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 and you come to a place where you can, like, okay, just be present. And then you're like, wait, but how? What do you mean?
like,
How do I do this?
it's easy. Just go in the dark room, figure it out. But isn't it funny that your body tends to figure it out for you? Because you said most people do end up like writing it out.
Yeah. When it, w- there are definitely people that do leave earlier than expected. And, the really an amazing thing about the dark is that I really feel that it's always the exact journey that someone is needed. So whether that's they come out early or, something else happens that they didn't expect, right? Like it's really about letting go of expectations. So it's funny, that's a huge thing that okay, what do I expect? It's really like the less you expect, the better, right? And so big learning in the dark is really like honoring yourself deeply. And so sometimes the medicine that people need is to really honor themselves. And if they're really feeling like, oh my gosh, this isn't serving me, I need to exit this space, then the medicine is actually honoring, oh, I need to leave, and not pushing. You know, a lot of people come, especially to the Hermitage, and a lot of we get a lot of clients that are very like serious meditators, like, you know, have sat for days and fasted and all this stuff. And so often I see that their medicine is really not being so hard on themselves and pushing themselves to the extreme of this amount of days in the dark, and then saying, hey, it's enough. I can come out now. And that's equally as hard. Everyone has these different medicines, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes that's really difficult for these people that have pushed themselves beyond comfort to realize, actually, this isn't serving me in this moment, and I need to not push myself. What am I trying to prove? Right? And so also tuning into when you are in the dark of, am I trying to prove something here, you know? It's very interesting.
Yeah. It sounds very interesting. Because I've done a sensory deprivation tank for 1 hour, my first time, and I did see some like lights and stuff, and like I had to face some stuff that I didn't really want to face, but it
Mhm.
helped me out a lot. But that was
Mm.
just 1 hour. But I was legitly like seeing like colors and like geometric shapes, because I've never like had that before.
Yeah,
But the second, third time, it didn't happen. Just the very first time.
sure.
Yeah, but it like made me calm down.
So sensory deprivation, like you're in a
It's the
tank with
tank.
water,
Have you ever
or
seen the show Stranger Things, where they put that girl in the tank? Yeah,
okay,
but it's like
wow.
completely black, so you don't
Mhm.
even feel yourself. Like I think when you're in the when you're in the dark room, you at least like you have your like physical senses,
Mhm.
right? You don't have that because it's Epsom salt and it's about 12 inches of water, so you just feel like you're floating in the middle and you don't have any senses.
That's
Yeah,
fascinating.
but they're not gonna put people in there for days, just 1 hour or 2 hours. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Where
So
was this?
this was in Pasadena, but I've also done it in Utah. They have it at a lot of places.
Okay.
It's called the thing sensory deprivation tank,
Yeah.
float tank.
Float tank. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I have heard of
yeah.
that. Okay, cool.
So it's like same concept.
Yeah, very similar. And so your experience was
It
was
was
like,
really very good.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like very. I wouldn't say completely enlightening, but it was
sure.
good. Like it made me feel good. Like I like to try new things.
Yeah.
I think everyone should. Don't be afraid. Don't care about what other people think. Just try it out. You know, you're bettering
Mhm.
yourself. And
Mhm.
if it's not for you, you can always walk out, right? Because you
Mhm.
said it's a double door, and the key is from the inside. So I'm locking everyone out. I'm not locking myself in. I can technically leave whenever I want. I could just unlock it.
Yes. And that's the thing. That's such a thing for people, right? Of like, no one's keeping me in here but my own self. So it's really coming to terms with the nature of the mind, really, right? Of like, yeah, we're not going to lock you in there. We do have a protocol of coming out, especially if you've been in there a certain amount of days. Your body really adapts to the dark, right?
Yeah.
And your rhythms become accustomed to the dark versus, you know, when you're without light for a certain amount of time, it takes a bit of an integration process to come out for the body. You can feel really dizzy and really a bit nauseous when you come out. And so it's making sure that we have a little bit of a protocol. And also, an important part of having some kind of protocol is to hopefully, I like to encourage people to really bring this sense of responsiveness to themselves versus reactivity. So it's ideal, of course, if someone is experiencing a huge amount of discomfort, right, in the dark, and let's say like anxiety, for example. That's such a common theme that people experience and come here with. I mean,
I mean, yeah. Like I said, like you stop doing something for 5 minutes, your brain starts racing, and you're like, why am I not being productive? You try that
mm,
for a couple of days, you're gonna develop some anxiety.
mm-hmm,
But so originally I was gonna bring in like headphones and just to listen to some music, not music, just like guided meditations. But I talked to
mm,
some like really avid meditators, and they're like, no, don't do that.
mm-hmm.
Just go in. Like, don't cheat yourself out of the full experience. They're like, I'm like, wait, what if my brain this? They're like, well, you need to face that. That was just
Yes.
they're like, you need to face why you're having that and overcome
Mm,
it, or just let it go.
mm-hmm. It is. It's a very profound facing oneself. But yeah, we hope that people will feel this more responsiveness versus reactivity. And so if you're feeling like, oh my God, I need to come out and anxious and blah, blah,
Then
blah, it's like, can you calm yourself to a point of like, okay, it's actually allowed that I come out. Sometimes I'll go up there and speak to people, and most of the time they're like, actually, I'm good. It's almost like this thing in your mind of like, wait, but can I? Am I allowed? Because once you're not allowed, right?
Yeah.
Quote unquote, once you're not allowed, it's like, no, I must. But then
Yeah.
once you give, I feel like give yourself permission in there. That's really what the dark is to me, of this big, how much of you can give yourself permission to move through whatever you need to move through, even if that means entertaining the idea of coming out sooner than you thought you were.
Mm. But on about 49 days. That's the record, right? You said?
I think I'm not sure about the record, but yeah, that's how long I've seen somebody be in there for. Yeah,
49 days, ladies and gentlemen. No lights, no sounds.
yeah,
They're fed, but 49 days.
yeah.
Wow, that's something. I'm like over here thinking about 5, but 49 days is a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like almost 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Were they okay when they got out? No,
More than okay.
they were more than okay.
Yeah.
They just got out and
Really.
high-fived you, or what?
I wasn't there when she came out. She's a good friend of mine. But again, it's different for everyone, right? But a couple people have done a 49-day experience, but I know that it was one of the most profoundly peaceful experiences for her in her entire life.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Have you heard people say that they've had like full-on like mystical experiences or psychedelic experiences?
A few, yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes, for sure.
because I was watching some YouTube videos and actually more often than not people are saying that they did. I think those people probably did drugs though before, so like those chemicals just like started like acting up again.
Yeah, it's interesting to also hear. I also watched. I think this is a really popular one. Aubrey Marcus's podcast about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dark,
yeah. He
right?
came here, didn't he? Or he was the
Here,
one in
no.
Germany. He was in Germany.
Or Poland, or yeah, something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
And again, how we do anything is how we do everything, right? So we get a lot of people, and me, myself included, right? Searching for these highs,
Mhm.
even without the stimulants. So it's like we're expecting, a lot of us expect this, like, oh, on day 4, I'm going to trip, and then this. And it's like, yeah, it's, again, everyone has their own medicine, but it's, maybe you found this in the float tank as well, but like, the more that we drop the expectations and just let ourselves be,
Yeah,
the more things can come through.
because it just becomes more natural,
Yeah,
and you just channel that energy more.
exactly. Versus forcing something or needing something to happen. And I find that, speaking personally within myself, of something's going to happen, right?
Yeah,
We're searching for that high, even in the dark.
I'm actually just trying to chill out and just
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. I'm definitely just trying to chill out and just be myself. That's pretty much what it's gonna happen.
That's a great intention.
Yeah,
To just really, I mean, how often is it that we get to have this, occupy this space where we're taken care of, all of our needs are met, we're being brought food, and we just get to be. That's so rare.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. Okay, what else? You were doing some guided meditations earlier. Can you tell me about that? Or guided breathing meditations? Well, if it's the camera, go ahead.
Yeah, fix the camera, fix the tech.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here at the Hermitage, we really like to equip people with tools so that they're not just having an experience of, oh, I'm on retreat and this doesn't apply to my day-to-day life, right? So while people are here, sometimes they can have an option to do a private session with me or one of the other facilitators here. And personally, I'm a somatic and breathwork facilitator. So
What's somatic?
So somatic is really most people know it as the body. Soma is the Greek word for the body.
Okay.
But it really means, what they see the body as is it's the mind too, right? Because the
Wait,
mind
so-
is a part of the body.
That's one thing I had to learn later because I used to meditate a lot, and I wouldn't really do the body exercises like yoga or just other body forms. And then they're like, no, yeah, it's a body-mind connection. That's why you're talking about the nervous system.
Yes.
That's connected to your brain.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And that was me before I came into somatics, of meditating from the neck up.
Mm.
forgetting totally about the whole rest of my body.
But your body like has cravings and feelings too. So like you need
And
to
wisdom.
and wisdom too. Yeah, and it also holds emotions.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
So that's what you saw me doing earlier. I was having a somatic session with a client here, and really going into the feeling body with awareness. And so seeing what comes up when we allow the body to guide versus the feeling body to guide versus the thinking body.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real deep work.
So you also do breathing exercises. Have you ever done like Kundalini breath?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah.
Really?
Do some Kundalini. My specialty is conscious connected breathing.
What's that?
So taking people on journeys into their subconscious through breath.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that like holotropic in a sense?
It's similar to holotropic, yes. So it's basically the yin version of holotropic. So holotropic is a bit usually uses a mouth inhale
Mm-hmm.
technique. And as I said, everything I do, I really like to include the knowledge of the nervous system, because the nervous system is really how we experience life, in our inner experience. So the version I use is more using a parasympathetic breath through our nose. So that really activates the rest and digest in the body, so that we actually feel safe enough to go into the places that we are resisting in our waking and our beta brainwave
The
life.
operating system, as they say.
Exactly.
So you go into like data mode in a sense?
Yeah, basically there's really the kind of, if there is a goal, right, of conscious connected breath, it's really to shift out of the brainwave,
Mm-hmm.
to move into the subconscious, so that we can really let, again, our bodies and our subconscious take over for that greater healing, versus doing the conscious mind and trying to think ourselves out of something, or to think ourselves into a transformation, right? Because most of our 95%, I think neuroscience says 95% of our thoughts, behaviors, actions, beliefs are from the subconscious. So it kind of makes sense to go there, right?
95, yeah, I totally agree on that. Actually,
Yeah.
I said that on one of the other podcasts. So I was interviewing a guy that's like a neuroscientist,
Oh,
and we're talking about that. He totally agreed. Yeah, so you could do affirmations that help you seep into your subconscious, but that's a lot slower. So I guess when you're in a calm state, you could get there quicker, right?
Absolutely. And like you just said, it's all about calming the body, actually. When we are in a calm state, when our nervous system is feeling present and relaxed, we can learn and adopt so much. Like, we have access to so much.
Uh-huh.
And again, like what you just said about your intention of going into the dark, I had some massive realizations at this, when you come to this profound level of relaxation, things just start to move in a way, and you get to experience yourself in a way, and not just yourself, but something bigger than you, that you're not really usually letting in, because we're so in the beta brain wave thinking go, go, go.
You mean like fight or flight?
Yeah.
So
Stress.
first you go into alpha, I believe. That's when like you can actually focus and study, and then you go into theta when you're like super calm
Yes.
and you're in the operating system.
Yes.
And then apparently there's this other state where it's like super deep. It's called gamma. That's where like people have mystical experiences,
Yeah.
and that's where they have like psychic abilities. He even said that
Yeah.
when we're playing with the brain machines. I think I showed you pictures of it. He even said that's where people have mystical experiences.
Yeah.
And gamma, and we know like frighteningly little about your gamma brainwaves.
So little. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But it takes that deep relaxation for the nervous system to feel so safe
Mm-hmm.
to go into those deeper brainwaves. So it'll be interesting to see almost how much can you let yourself relax when you're in the dark. And from there, just being open to what you can connect with.
Yeah, connect with myself, my higher self.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, just chill out in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just relax for like 5 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Plus I'm being fed. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to take a shower. There's no one in there with me. I'll probably just brush my teeth, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Ruth told me. She's like, I'm not gonna say on there, but but she liked it too, and she's like, it was like very profound. And even you guys said, they're like, oh, whatever you expect is gonna happen. You've never ever had an experience like this. When I read the uh, what do they call it, like the pamphlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, right on. What's like one common, I don't want to say mistake, but people have like going into the dark retreat? Like, what do they think? Like, they already have like a preconceived notion of what's gonna happen.
It's a great question.
Like, I had the understanding like on day 4 you're gonna have a full on mystical experience because I've heard of it on other podcasts or I've heard of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So might not happen, I'll be like, okay, well, that's cool.
I would say something that's coming to me right now is, I don't know if it's the mistake, but the really the essence of the energy, like of allowing. Because when we are in expectation, that's probably maybe the mistake there of
Because
like,
you're in the present tense when you should be in the present
yeah.
moment
So,
or in the future tense. You're in the future tense when you have that expectation.
Yeah.
When you truly go inside, you're in the present moment. That's when you allow.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Expectation. Yeah, it's hard. But I just paused because when I said the biggest mistake, and I felt like some resistance in my body when
Yeah.
I said that, because people's quote unquote mistakes when they go in the dark
Yeah.
end up being some of their greatest learnings.
That's
So
how
in a way, when I was like, oh, mistake, it's like, I almost like,
Yeah.
almost there is no mistake, because
Yeah.
what you're bringing in the dark, even if it's a perceived mistake, it's such an important learning. And I know that sounds a bit like
Yeah.
spiritual, like taboo, but
No,
it's so true.
No,
It's,
but it is true. But I mean, even if some people consider it a mistake, you actually learn from your mistakes and you grow. And I think just going in there is about just growing, become a
yeah.
better you.
And becoming more like deeply aware, because when you don't have stimulus, you are really seeing as I said in the beginning, the nature of your mind. And so really noticing, oh, I'm expecting this, like almost like becoming a professional noticer in there.
Nice. What do they call it? Mindfulness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But the thing is, the mind also has like what do they call it? Like triggers to get you amped up. So it protects itself from boredom and danger. It also protects you from danger.
Yes.
So that's why your body always goes into a flight or flight state. So just tell it to chill, dude. Just enjoy the moment. Right? I mean, that's like I know it's a very basic way of saying it, but I think that's just really what it is.
It's so true.
What are you gonna do? Your taxes? Like just
Yeah.
dark,
It's funny because I was saying this to a friend the other day. We were talking about the dark, about our experiences, and she said, hopefully the sound is so good that you can't hear the dogs
it's okay.
barking.
I'll edit it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'll edit out or just minimize the background noise.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 dogs here who are just love to make
They
so
are,
much noise.
and they're lovely actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I walked in here by myself, like, they didn't even say anything to me. They came and smelled me, and I was like, oh, okay.
They can
that's
tell.
Yeah?
They can tell. They're a big part of people's processes here too. I think it's so important to have animals around when we're doing this deep work, to help regulate. Animals are a big regulation for our nervous systems too.
Yeah, and they're man's best friend.
Yes.
Or people's best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
I actually forgot the question too. We're talking about your mind sabotaging you, or having programs that can sabotage you. So you just reprogram the mind.
Yes. We're saying something else about when you're in the dark. Oh, I was saying when I was reflecting on my own experience, when I noticed this sense of, oh, that's right. After like a day or two, a day and a half of my first time of being in there, I noticed how busy I was. Because you said like, oh, it's not like you can do your taxes in there. But what's really fascinating is how much we can busy ourselves when we have nothing to do, right? And I noticed how much I was planning, how much I was like dreaming, and beautiful things, like great ideas, but that's still a form of busying yourself. So it's fascinating to me how I can be in there, dark room, nothing to do, no messages to get back to, no work, and I'm still so incredibly busy. And like after a day and a half, I was like, Bishop, you have been so busy. Like, can you just, yeah, it was really interesting to observe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like being observing the observer.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's like next level.
Yeah.
But you're able to overcome that. You seem more
Yeah.
calm. Because when I was like, hey, just because dinner came as we were about to do the podcast, I was like, just give me like 10 minutes. I'm a fast eater. You're like, no, take your time and
Take your
eat the food, and I'll
time.
be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another beautiful thing in the dark too, like, because really the only stimulant, because you are eating in there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we actually recommend you eat in there. A lot of people come with the like, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna fast and I'm gonna be in the
No, I'm
dark with
gonna eat.
no food.
I'm definitely gonna eat.
But food actually really helps with the integration when what your body's moving through in there. But it's really interesting to you have this like relationship with food in there because it's really the only stimulant that you're receiving. And so to like you have where are you gonna go? Like so you really get to take your time and like you can't see the food either. So it's like
Oh, you can't
this
see the food?
curiosity. Of course not.
But it probably tastes 10 times better because all your other senses
Yeah.
are kind of off.
Absolutely.
Nice. Throw in some chocolate for me, dark.
Yeah.
Nah, but I'll hit that afterwards.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I do love
Yeah.
dark chocolate. Yeah, but that's actually that is a stimulant though. Dark chocolate itself is most people don't know, and so is coffee. Technically, that's classified as a drug too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because that stimulates your body,
It does.
and it cannot calm down because it's
Mhm.
in that fight or flight state. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you need it to do your job, and it's not good for you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I want to also something that just came up too, like a lot of times we look at sympathetic state and fight or flight as like a bad thing. And it's not a bad thing. I just want to be clear for people listening. Like it's that when we're chronic in fight or flight and can't, it's almost like we're a slave to that state. That's when it's not helpful, not supportive. But our bodies naturally move through fight or flight. Like that's a healthy nervous system, right?
well, it's evolution because like sometimes there's a lion. You can't be just sitting there meditating
Exactly.
and thinking about nirvana. You need to get the hell out of there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really healthy. Like it's not a shameful thing to experience your body in a stress state. Like we are meant to respond to stresses, like you just said.
Right.
But it's when we realize that one of these states runs our whole life that it becomes problematic.
But they love to hate those type of states. So a lot of people I know, then like corporate, like they like those states. Just to be in that like fight or flight. But that's actually
Sure.
not good for your body. That's gonna cause a lot of problems down the line
Sure.
because that's just hardcore stress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chronic.
chronic. Yeah. If it's consistent, like if it happens every so often, like car accident, you pull out of the way. That's very useful for your own survival.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um. So most people end up going through the whole process, from what you're saying.
When you say the whole process.
Like they come in, they have an intention of doing 5 days, and they actually do the 5 days.
So we have 3 recommendations that people whatever they feel resonant with that they start with. So we have the 3 days, 4 nights, and just to start out with, we have the 5 days, 6 nights, which I believe is what you're doing.
That's what I'm doing.
And then we have the 7 days, 8 nights. And then sometimes for people that are wanting to do more, that maybe have done a dark retreat before and they want to go for longer, 12 days, 14 days, and then if called to the 49 days.
Woo!
But yeah,
is that a magic number or something like that?
So apparently the 49 has a really symbolic representation because that's how long the Buddha was Siddhartha sat under the tree and found enlightenment.
Oh.
Or discovered
days,
enlightenment.
huh?
Yeah, 49 days. So it has that spiritual, religious significance.
Yeah, that T number like 1111. Make a wish. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Just like 1111.
Yeah. Well, it's the same concept is what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
those numbers have a magic to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, I'm just going 5 days. I don't know if I want to go any longer. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Yeah. And like we said too, I think this is also important for people to hear. Like the owner here, Severin, I remember him telling me, like, as I said before this, more time, it's not always more. More is not always
You
more,
told me
right?
more
And
is not
so,
always good.
yeah, more is not always good. And so some people come out of their, 3-day, 5-day experience, and they're like, that was great, but next time. And it's like, interesting. Again, like, it's such a beautiful opportunity to become more aware of yourself when you're coming out of the dark, because what is your go-to thing
Yeah.
after you come out of, like, that was great, but like,
Yeah.
it's like, can you just really allow? Because sometimes somebody actually did it twice this year, and he just recently came back. And the first time he did a week, and this most recent time, I think he did 3 days, because that's all he had time for, right? 3 days, 4 nights. And he said this last one was more difficult and showed him, quote unquote, more
Yeah.
than his first experience. And so again, it's like, it's just where
Actually,
your body is.
actually, you just checked my Edo because I was like, I'm gonna do it in 5 because everyone's asking me how you didn't do it. I'm like, watch next time I'm doing 10. But I'm like, dude, forget that. Just
Wow.
concentrate on the present moment, right? Don't
That's
worry about what's gonna
huge.
happen next time.
Huge
Yeah,
awareness.
because honestly, like the fact that I'm thinking I'm gonna do 10 is like just for bragging rights at that point. Like, is it gonna really benefit me, or I'm just gonna waste 10 days of my
Sure.
life? Um, or just concentrate on yourself. It could be 2 days, 3 days. Doesn't have
Sure.
it's quality, not quantity, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And that's the huge thing, right? I think it's such a thing that comes up for most people of like, what am I trying to prove? And when we can let go of that, I need to be in here for this amount of days, even to yourself, right? If I can do this.
Yeah,
It's like, what is allowed into our experience when we drop the proving? And we're so conditioned to do that throughout our entire life, right? Like grades and college
yeah, you
and
get brownie
jobs,
points.
like constantly, like, I did this, I did this, I did this. And it's like you said in the very beginning, it's really this profound unlearning in there.
Got it, got it. And Gandhi said, "Only in solitude can we hear the whispers of truth." Oh, oh, oh!
Aho,
She just
aho.
went Thailand, bowed with the hands.
Absolutely.
Um, okay, got it. Yeah, Gandhi definitely said that. There's a lot of people that do go into solitude to, learn certain things. Do you feel like, oh, this is a little mystical, like there's source, like knowledge beyond us that we can actually accumulate, like source, like the white light?
I personally, I have never, besides one of my ayahuasca ceremonies
Mm-hmm.
in Brazil, I probably felt the most connected to God, source,
The
whatever.
force.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's another concept.
Don't get caught up in the words, right?
Yeah,
Like that something greater. I've never felt so connected to it than I have in the dark. Truly. And it's funny because it's ironic, right? Like you're in the dark, but yet I've never felt so much light.
because you open up your heart, and you're in the present moment. Oh, you would know this because you said you're trying to do the mind body connection. What is it about like connecting your heart and your brain, where when they start syncing together, and the rhythm is the same, like you go full deep.
Yeah, that's the ultimate body coherence.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we're
Body mind
our
coherence.
mind
Yeah.
body synapses are so connected and in tune. And I'm not a neuroscientist or
That's all
whatnot.
good,
I
dude.
study the nervous system a bit, so don't quote me on anything here. But I feel that yeah, what we're doing in there also is really, again, allowing our body. And Joe Dispenza shares about this too, but like this coherence, right? When all systems in the body are operating in a state of like complete I mean, everything's interconnected all the time, right? But a real state of like
It's a flow.
a flow.
A flow.
Exactly,
A flow.
exactly.
Like you know how you're in the moment. Sometimes you're just doing everything correctly. You're just in the zone.
Yeah,
That's how your body is and your mind. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And apparently, when that happens, things become more efficient. Whether you're setting attention or you just want to relax, you want to heal yourself. Apparently,
exactly.
yeah.
Every single level in our body becomes optimal efficiency.
Speaking of which, have you had someone come in here and they were sick, they got out, and they're over it? Like maybe mentally or anything like that? Or maybe they were working through something like a breakup?
Yeah, I would say, well, I definitely have had people come in here that have had some real intense struggles in their life, like moving through grief,
Yeah.
yeah, breakups, divorce, other challenges in their life, and yeah, they've gotten a lot of clarity. I wouldn't say that I've seen anybody come out that's like all is resolved per se,
Hmm.
because that I think that would also imply that the dark like did something to you, right? To where what people move through in there, it's almost like this sense of acceptance of whatever is. It's just become so like they stop fighting their what they're experiencing,
Got it.
you know?
I've heard.
And that allows for such healing in itself.
I've heard of that through ayahuasca, where people said people go in and they just want something, but it's gonna give you what you need.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the same
Yes.
concept?
Yeah,
Okay. Look at her
100%.
smile.
100%. You don't always get what you want, but you will probably always get what you need in that space.
Isn't that better though for you?
Huh.
Isn't that better just to get what you need?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
The ego wants what it wants, but the source, the spirit, or whatever you believe in, and
Consciousness.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Got it.
we need what the learnings that we're receiving
Nice.
always.
So you're a practitioner and you help people through guided meditation and other ways.
Breath work,
Yeah, breathwork.
somatic.
I always end on this note, like, what
Work.
advice would you have for people? Let's just say they're sad, they're depressed, or they're just unhappy in life. What would be like one piece of advice you'd be able to give them? Doesn't have to be life changing, like something to help them out that day.
I would say if someone is moving through something really challenging,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is, one thing comes to me first, and then something secondly. One thing is that also was one of my biggest learnings in the dark too is impermanence.
What do you mean? That's a big word.
Yeah. There is everything is impermanent. Emotion, situation, and
You mean
life.
You mean a
Life.
constant change?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I'm in a certain state, or maybe clients that have been depressed or experienced feelings of depression, it's almost like when we feel in these kind of more unpleasant states,
Mm-hmm.
where like we are like, I need to get out of this, like, right? But especially in the work that I do with trauma and somatics, it's really, and this is the second piece of something I would like to offer, is again in the dark of allowance. Because when we allow ourselves to be in our human experience, things actually move through us quite quickly.
And when you mean human experience,
Or-
like just be there in the present moment. Stop thinking about your bills. Or you mean like
I
more
mean,
spiritual sense?
I mean, when I say allowing ourselves to live our human experience, I really mean things like what you just said about being in pain, being in anxiety, being in experiencing depression, experiencing grief, experiencing anger, like deep anger and resentment. Like, I feel like most of society and what we're taught out there is that these things are lower. These things are things to be fixed, to overcome.
Or bottled up inside?
Yeah, exactly. Or that's not allowed.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the more, if I were to like have one thing to say to repeatedly to myself and to everyone in the world, is how much can you allow yourself to be human? Because that is a part of the human experience, right? The anger, the sadness, like this is all of the rapture of being alive.
Damn.
And so,
You sound like
yeah.
Oprah. I like it. I've heard her say something like that. She's like, allow yourself to feel the experience, not justify it that it happened to you, but it did happen to you, and then just let it go.
Yeah, to let it go, to let it in.
Yeah.
Because this is why we're here for, right? Is to experience emotion, which is really just energy in motion, to experience things through our this earth suit of ours,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, I just feel like if people could just give themselves more permission to go through whatever they're going through, knowing that their bodies, and oh my God, this could be a whole different episode, but our bodies are so deeply intelligent, and that depression is actually a very intelligent state coming from your nervous system to keep you safe.
Really?
Yes, 100%. Anxiety is actually deep intelligence in the body sending cues saying, I'm not safe, right? And so, all of these things, if we can look at and be like, my human organism is deeply intelligent, that one view is, I'm not saying that anxiety, chronic anxiety is healthy or whatever, but to look at ourselves as not broken and to see that, oh, like for example, something very simple, if you get a pimple on your face, right? Your body's responding to something, right? Such as maybe you ate too much sugar and you're breaking out, or your hormones are off, especially for a lot of women, right? Of acne around your mouth,
I
or
had cheese the other day and I got broke out a little bit, which I'm not supposed to have cheese.
intelligent
Yeah.
response.
Yeah.
So really looking at your body, everything is so deeply intelligent. And I think that would allow for so much more self-compassion for ourselves and others. And especially with others, right? In relationship of, if I see you getting angry at something or like getting really in this like fight mode, to see like, his body's responding to something. This is not about me. Anyways, the whole other episode,
Got
but
I got
that
it.
is the one thing that, and goes for the dark as well, of like how much permission can you give yourself?
A lot. I'm here. I flew out here.
Yes.
We're doing this. And we're doing it, smoothly.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'll be there for me when I need you.
100%.
Thank you. And
We're supporting you.
Thank you. How can people find the Hermitage?
Yeah. So
I'll post your info.
yeah, great. The Hermitage on our Instagram, on our website also. It's just the Hermitage, I think the Hermitage Guatemala .com, but the Hermitage.com. I think actually we're one of the first to come up if you look up Solitary and Dark Retreat Center.
Or if you just Google Hermitage in Guatemala, it'll just come up for sure.
Exactly.
But I'll post the info.
Great.
And it's beautiful. It's like a retreat on the lake, which is
Yeah.
amazing. This is totally quiet. Thank you.
Side note,
Yeah. go
where
ahead.
this place is, we are in basically this crater of like volcanoes all around us. So this is quite an energy center.
Yeah.
So to have an experience like this, where you're basically in this like womb, they call this place like the womb of like one of the womb on in this part of the
Right.
world.
Like a vortex in a sense.
Exactly.
This
a vortex.
is like the Central America of Sedona.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
There's energy here. People are happy.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And a lot of a lot of trauma on this land too, right? I mean, we're on Mayan land right now,
That's
and
true, too.
Guatemala is definitely like, it's a beautiful space and also a third world country, and
the
it's
people are beautiful too.
beautiful,
inside and outside.
beautiful
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Cool.
So
And that's how we should end this episode. Thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, go down and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.